people, and welcome to Ebonyi People TV. I'm your adorable host, Aquama Precious. Today we have another wonderful topic to discuss, but before we proceed, I'd like you to meet my lovely guest. Please do the honors of introducing yourself. On my left, I have...
I'm Comrade Benjamin, popularly known as Mendoza, one-time president, faculty of medical students, Ebonyi State University, known as EMSA, and as well one-time chairman of all the faculty presidents, one-time SUD president of Ebonyi State University, and as well the chairman of all SUD presidents. Currently, the national president, National Association of Ebonyi State Students, NAIS, and the NANS Zone F leader, Ebonyi State, in the capacity of financial secretary and the treasurer. Thank you.
And on my right, I have...
My name is John Wangwen. I am a student of Ebonyi State University and an entrepreneur in the hospitality industry, a chef running a food brand known as John Foods Company. Thank you.
Okay, so Sir John, I'd like you to define the term tertiary education for us.
The tertiary education is a higher level of education that helps to prepare one to become a professional in their chosen field.
Okay. Sir Abom, I'd like you to educate us on what skill acquisition is all about.
Skill acquisition, I think, is a learned ability with a determined result and execution, which is done in a particular period of time in order to construct one's life fully. Okay.
So, a very quick question for the both of you. I'll start with Sir Abom first. In all of your experiences, how has tertiary education as well as skill acquisition helped you in your personal development and your career development?
Okay, I think according to practical, the ultimate goal of human existence is happiness. And I know whatever that has helped one is whatever that puts food on the table. Actually, tertiary education has helped in a very good way. According to John Dewey, he said it is a continuous restructuring of experience. And it is that experience that can help you to live a life worth living. Then, through skill, like I said before, the skill acquisition can also help you to be independent in the society and live a very good life. So they go in benefits, they are interwoven in the sense that education can help you to make a very good difference in that skill you are. But the situation of the country today, of a truth, skill acquisition has done things that are very, very meaningful as far as the country is concerned.
So, do you have any acquired skills, like personal skills?
When we talk of skills, we have different types of skills.
I mean, like handwork.
Handwork is just one aspect of the skill. That is what we call labor skills. We have hard skills. We have personal skills.
Okay.
So when we talk of handwork, currently I don't have any handwork, but I have that personal skill that I can anchor any program. And like I told you before, whatever that put food on your table is your skill. But if it is handwork, like say going to do carpentry work, messing work, that is labor skill. No, I don't.
Okay. So in your tertiary education field, what was your course of study?
Firstly, I studied human anatomy, and currently I'm studying medicine as such.
Okay, quite interesting. So Sir John, how has tertiary education and handwork helped you in your personal development and in your career development as well?
Thank you for the question. First of all, I would say these two things are actually contributed to the person I am today. Tertiary education as a whole, has formed me as a man, has taught me how to think, what to think, and how to associate with people, how to influence people, and a lot of things in the journey of life. Then, being a student in a university, I would say that as much as education has brought me far, having a skill has also formed a greater part of the person I am today. I wouldn't be able to be a student if it weren't for skills. Being a person that loves to be very independent, I found myself trying to do things for myself right from immediately after my first year in the university. And the journey of independence started. And that journey wouldn't have been possible without entrepreneurship, without having a skill. So I've gone ahead to actually acquire, just like you said, personal skills, labor skills, and digital skills. So right now I'm on the journey of becoming more by mixing all of these skills together and then making something tangible out of it. So summarily, the combination of both is continuing to make me every day, and many other persons there on the street.
Okay, so Mr. Abon, as a one-time SUG president and a final year medical student, how do you believe tertiary education has prepared you for the challenges of modern world? And what skills do you think it lacks in comparison to skill acquisition?
Actually, education has helped me a lot in terms of exposure. Of course, one of the importance of education, it molds your moral, mental, and emotional aspects from the solid aspect of life. But then, during our tertiary education, the university has to put a curriculum and entrepreneurship. That has to do with that everything doesn't depend on reading and writing. The only thing it lacks is that I cannot practically say this is what I can develop out of myself. But with my personal skill, my hard skill, which is a professional skill, I think I can also control the other things within myself.
Okay, so I hear you say the university included entrepreneurial studies in its curriculum.
Yes.
But I'd like to ask, is it in the theoretical aspect or in the practical aspect?
Currently, it is in the theoretical aspect. I pray and hope that in time to come, it will be practical.
Okay, so if I'm not wrong, it is still more like the theory aspect we get from every other subject of study. Alright. So, Chef John, running a successful business as a chef while pursuing medicine is quite impressive. Can you share specific instance where your acquired skills have been directly applicable in your medical studies and vice versa?
Well, there are a lot of instances which may not be very direct. Instances such as a chef, when people come into my kitchen, the first thing I tell them is about kitchen safety. And this aspect of my professional training, being a chef, was actually developed or became more pronounced after I noticed that even in medicine, safety comes first. Safety, the doctor has to be safe to be able to provide safety for the patient. So if you step into my kitchen, if you want to use my gas cooker, you want to use my oven, first of all, I will tell you these are the things you could actually encounter while trying to use any of these equipment. Alongside food health, when I'm handling the food that people will eat, I'm mindful because whatever goes into them is majorly what they are going to produce. If I give you contaminated food, you're definitely going to turn out sick. So the both knowledge actually work hand in hand.
In today's fast-changing world, adaptability is crucial. How has your tertiary education helped you stay adaptable? And in what ways do you believe skill acquisition can complement that trait?
Thank you very much. With the environment we find ourselves in Ebonyi State University, it has even refined us to adapt to any environment we can meet in any part of the world. Because here, once you left your home, you come to be trained. And with the kind of training we receive here, you can adapt to any part of the country. Because they will actually ask you to allow us to pass through, even pass through. So in the second question you asked about how you can complement your education with skills, is that what you mean?
Yes, how can your education be complemented to your trait of adaptability?
Okay. Just like we said, it depends on the skills. So as a doctor, if I can handle equipment properly to treat patients, I think it is a particular aspect of skill I have myself. Or if I decide to engage in another skill, I know I can adapt faster than someone who has never engaged himself in a tertiary institution. Because I have wider scope of understanding than every other one. Just like John Hop, Cook or whatever. He's able to cope with what he's doing because of the level of education. Of a truth, he was in secondary school and he never became this popular and this to this point of expertise in this practice. But when he gained admission to university, I think he developed it more and more. So I think with the level of education we have, we'll be able to engage into different skills and cope in lesser time than someone who has not been there.
The world of today is going digital, like everything is going digital, and our tertiary education system has not gotten to that level, that point yet. It has not gotten to that point. So when you're in school, all you do is book more of your books, more of theory. They don't give you that exposure that you need, yes, to add up. Like, you need the digital skills now because this world is also changing to a digital world. So how can a person in that kind of environment, leaving that environment, going to an environment where their world is more digitalized, how can such a person adapt?
Okay, I think considering my profession, I think we can adapt in any environment. But for the sake of people who are not into a professional studies, okay, a lot of people are engaging in digital networking business, okay? So even in our profession now, some people cannot even survive without this digitalization. So they make use of their phone. And in other professions, people are also in school and are also learning one skill or the other, especially during this holiday. Knowing fully well that white collar job doesn't do us any good because a lot of people who graduated are not doing anything. So that is why, like I said before, the university has to introduce into their curriculum the entrepreneurial studies. There you can learn about tailoring, carpentry, though it's not practical. But I think even bakery, I think students have to say, okay, since they've been able to introduce this, I think we can do it. At least, if nothing is coming up, I will be able to lay my hand on this. So in as much as people are studying in their classrooms, students have been able to know that there is something above studying in the classroom, considering the nature of the world we are, and are engaging into skills. So I think that is what people are doing now.
So over to you, Chef John. Being a professional chef and a final year medical student, how has skill acquisition played a role in your journey And what unique advantage do you think it offers over the traditional tertiary education?
Thank you. I think I am very, very grateful to the fact that I actually got the idea of learning and harnessing my skills while in school. Because I feel, first of all, the place I am now wouldn't have been possible if it were just tertiary education. The place I am now financially, the place I am now socially, and the place I am now in the knowledge sphere. All of those things wouldn't have been possible. Maybe something else would have happened, but for the fact that I started learning and decided to harness my skills, it has pushed me further. Then on the other aspect, I think I have an added advantage over someone who has never decided to explore any other aspect of their skills or any other aspect of knowledge while being a student in a university. Take for instance, if it is the aspect of working for people, applying for jobs or associating with others in the society, I think I can comfortably associate with any person I want. I can be able to influence persons who are above and below me because I've learned that skill of negotiation in the process of being a chef, being able to cook my food and sell it to people. So all of those skills have formed, giving me the advantage to perform better than someone who just focused in school just to do their 4, 5, 6, 7 years and go away. Although there is a disadvantage. The disadvantage being that there's been a lot of challenges, especially with the fact that medicine is a very, very jealous course, a jealous one, just like some other courses. It's a course where if you turn your back on it once, it will turn its back on you 7 times. So, and you see the impact of this, how many times you fail exams. And the system in the school where I attend is that there are some exams that when you fail, and they will send you out of school, out of the college. And there are times that when you fail, you have to face a lot of humiliation and a lot of things that come with it. So there are huge workloads to read per semester, per year. There are practical aspects of the course to actually do. So being able to combine it with a skill, that's why when I see a few who decide to do it, maybe do school, do politics, they are superb, they are great people. When I see people who decide to do it and do skill acquisition, baking, digital skill acquisition, they are just people who have owned up to it and have decided to go away from the norm. But it is not an easy feat at all. Studying a course alone or being in the university alone is already a Herculean task on its own. But then we have to always dare to be great.
What do you think this tertiary institution, do you think it should be Herculean the way it is? Like, do you think it's, like, from your own opinion, would it have been better if you had a more flexible schedule for your tertiary education so you can juggle it with your skill acquisition than the way it is already? Because from what you said, it's posing a lot of stress, both physically and mentally. Yes.
Well, I wouldn't have known any better if there was no other system to compare the current system I am in with. What I'm trying to say is comparing the curriculum or the educational schedule here and the Western world. Some of my friends who are abroad, they tell me that some say they learn for only 8 hours, some give me the time frame which they learn, and they are still able to work, do part-time jobs and get paid. So, but the system in Nigeria may not actually give us that opportunity to do such kind. Well, okay, take for instance, if I decide to go to school from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. every day, there are no places in Nigeria where they do jobs part-time that I can do and receive wages maybe 1 hour, 2 hours, but over there is. So while I think our school system can still be restructured, the other systems, because the school doesn't act alone, the school doesn't exist solitarily, yes, it doesn't exist on itself. So even if the structure is being rearranged, there are other things that also have to be rearranged to, help to give a student the leverage to be able to work and also earn. Then, all things being equal, had it been our parents are well-to-do or the civil service and other jobs that our parents are engaged in were paying well, the students might not even have any need to work while they're in school. You can comfortably go through your education and you don't have to work, and you come out. So some persons get scholarship and they just focus and get their first class and they're the best in the profession. So if a system can also come that will help students to focus, study and then come out, then those that are focusing on skill will focus on skill and come out.
Yes.
I think it should still be appreciated.
Okay. Over to you, Mr. Abon. Do you believe that the current education system adequately addresses the need for practical skills and experimental learning? If not, what improvements would you suggest?
Like I said before, I don't believe so, because those students are not properly monitored to know whether they acquire the specific skills they are sent to during their industrial training. And if I may also say, I have to fault it in the side of the management and the side of the students. Now, the side of the management is that students are there to be trained, and a lot of them might not do what is expected of them. But during the presentation, you'll be able to know that this person actually did what we sent him or her to do. And if not, the person should either repeat it or get a low mark that will serve as a deterrent to others who would also not repeat what the person has done. Now, in terms of in the side of students, actually, most of the students are very lazy. And due to the nature of the environment, because every student wants to get money. Instead of you to go and learn the skills, no, let me go and see where I can make 1 or 2 money instead of me going to pay. Then the situation in the country today that the companies that are supposed to train students and at least assist them will say no, you even have to pay us. And that's the only challenge, the major challenge we are having. That students during the 6 months of industrial training might not even go, may stay at somewhere where it's getting little money to manage him. So my advice is that the management, university management should be monitoring students properly. And the environment, especially the company, there should be not even the company, the federal government or the state government should create an avenue where students will be encouraged to do that industrial training.
Exactly, that's what I wanted to say, because I don't understand how you tell me to go for IT when I know that when I finish with this 4 or 5 years course, I'm not going to practice.
Yes.
So, but if the government has done their own job, do their part, where a student who has gone through tertiary education has a short job that is going to, even if it's the minimum wage, immediately you get out of school. Because that is going to serve as an encouragement.
Yes.
That, okay, I should do my IT very well, because I know at the end of my stay here, these people are going to test me. And if I pass, I'm going to get a job immediately.
Okay, not only that, if that particular place you did IT can also offer you any job after your studies, maybe we'll have different companies that okay, after studying, okay, I've acquired the knowledge, let me go and face my skills. With everyone, not just like I said before, the ultimate goal, according to particularly, the ultimate goal in human existence is happiness. If after studying and I don't have something that will make me happy, put food on my table, what is the education? That is it.
Okay, I want to comment on the aspect of this IT for that use, for instance. I mean, I don't think organizations have a share of problem in this case, because personally speaking for myself, I would say it's the education system that is at fault, as well as individuals only, because when I did my internship, they wanted to retain me, but considering the schedule of my academic activity, there was no way I could juggle being there and being in school. It was a whole lot of stress and pressure for me. If students that actually go for their internship, they actually come back with positive testimonies, so far so good, that I am aware of. Okay, and truthfully speaking too, the government is the major problem here, because there's a saying that goes that if the source of the water is bad, it will definitely flow down. It will affect every other aspect. So the government is a problem here too as well.
Okay, thank you very much. It's not a question of trying to retain at that particular point in time. Will you be retained after your studies in that place?
Well, I think if they are retaining me for that after my internship, it means they actually liked my performance and they would want to retain me afterwards. Because I see no reason why you would retain me after my IT and then you won't retain me to work for you. Retaining me definitely means that you want me to be a part of your
But they should know that you don't have the time to work there at that particular point in time. So they should also recommend you.
That's the problem we have.
That is it.
That's the problem.
That's why we bounce back to those people. And also you're speaking based on your own department. One of people who you're only just a president, you go to radio house, owned by state government and also private anyway.
Yeah.
But at least that one is better off than people who go to learn in a particular company. Where that like you go to NNPC. In fact, you might not even be able to stay there because people who are coming to learn there. To stay to do their IT there. Let alone. In fact, there are some people that when they go to NNPC and they say they should retain them. In fact, they prefer being there than being part-time. But it's not in the country. So they are not encouraging students to do that.
Okay. So what suggestions do you have to improve this to address these problems?
The suggestion I have to address the problem is in the side of students. For me, there was a time I posted education is free. That's our slogan. And now, as someone commented, everybody wants to go to school. I am encouraging youth that after basic education, you find that you cannot cope very well in higher institution. Go into skill acquisition, learn, because from there you can also do your part-time program and get the certificate you need. Because it is only skills that can help someone to earn a living. So I think if people can do that, definitely the world will be a very good place to stay. It won't depend on the government. And on the side of the government, they should create more opportunities for people to engage in. When you go to a state, what will be seen is only hotel. How many people will be engaged here? What are they teaching us? You hardly see a state where they have biscuit industry, brewery industry, different types of industry. And when you finish, you'll be able to say, okay, I'm going to this particular place. Yes, and after, okay, those in biochemistry, biology, department and other courses, I will be here. It is not here. Also, the university should also create a particular thing, a particular program. When I was actually president, we had to talk all the universities in the Southeast. And we found out that some universities who made money through the agricultural sector, they have it. Domicile SIS school, some have filling stations, some have industry where they produce one or two things, automobile industry, where they produce one or two things. And when you go to outside the country like China, they have all these things. And that is why once you graduate, you don't need to look for a job. You do what color job is not there, you pass back to what you learned. Like now, today, you find that those who engage in polytechnics are more vibrant than those who just go to university.
Hold on. You said you go to states and you discover that most of what they have, most of the structure in places are hotels.
Yes.
Well, I'm not going to say that's totally a bad idea because I think it will favor more of people like Chef John. I mean,
how many people will this know?
You know, yes.
all of those things.
Yes, not totally. Yes, because there are advantages to it as well.
I'm not condemning it, but I'm saying that it is more predominant. They should build more companies in the state where people will be engaged in. Because when somebody is crafted, engaged in a particular thing, drastically you are reducing the rate of criminality in the state. Unemployment, which is social insecurity.
Okay, Chef John, practical experiences is undoubtedly valuable, but some argue that formal education provides a deeper understanding of underlying principles. How do you believe both aspects in pursuit of knowledge and expertise? How do you balance both aspects rather of pursuit of knowledge and expertise?
So right now, if people come to learn how to bake from me, the first thing I teach them is the science of baking, then the art. Science of baking, where I will tell you that a baking powder is made up of this and this, and if it is lacking in your baked goods, this is what will happen. The eggs we eat, these are the principles that, when you put egg in something, this happens and this doesn't happen and all of those things. Now, if you bake a cake with alcohol, how does alcohol help the cake to stay longer? So if you're cooking beans and you add salt or you don't add salt, what makes it cook faster and all of those things? So a student or someone who has come to learn a skill has to spend some time learning the principles. Okay, if you ask yourself this question, why is it that a car is manufactured in China or Germany, then the car is brought to Nigeria, then a mechanic who has never been in the four walls of a mechanical engineering school is able to dismantle this vehicle and mount it again and the vehicle starts to move? Somehow this person has learned the principle. Principles are phenomena that generally, in fact, if you are outside, if you are in America, you are in Nigeria, you are in Cotonou, anywhere you are, the principles of a thing is the principle of a thing. That the microphone will work, there is a principle. So even if I go to my village and decide to bring materials together and make a microphone, I must follow that principles to make it work. So principles can never be overlooked. While he was answering the question about the IT and stuffs, I wanted to put in that the practical aspect and the theoretical aspect should be 50-50. Not when I'm studying a 4 years course and you're giving me only 6 months out of 4 years to go and do the practical aspect of the course. Okay, as a medical student, in each of our clinical class, we have about, like my class currently, we have 24 weeks to actually do the practical aspect of what we are studying. Then in exams, professional exams, you have the practical aspect that you actually do with real patients, and then you have the theoretical aspect that you learn in class. But I still feel it is not even enough. It is not enough in the sense that I see doctors that graduate and struggle to actually give the basic health, the basic assistance that the patient needs in a hospital. So that means something is lacking in the training. Despite the fact that you've been able to study textbooks that are as voluminous as this. So the practical aspect can never be overlooked. So while we are vested on the principle, we should as much have the practical. In fact, let's be 50-50.
Okay, yeah, but I am of the opinion that like what Chef John said, if you're reading a course of 4 years, 2 years at least should be allocated to practical works and 2 years to theoretical works. Because my first experience in the field, the outside field during my internship, I felt more like, okay, I'm just a rookie. Yes, because I didn't even know how, the nitty-gritty of the simplest of practical things. But it was through the period of internship I got to know a few things about the field I'm studying. And I still keep, learning every day. I still need more experience and exposure to the open field. So if I'm not wrong, I think there should be an equal balance, 2 years practical and 2 years theory.
Anyway, you're right, but you should know that the curriculum has been structured in such a way that you have a lot of things to cover. And when you talk of these things we are learning, we learn today against next 5 years. Actually, most of the things we learn even in secondary school, we don't find in the university. You will still go and connect that knowledge back. That might be the reason why they structure it like that.
Well, I wish there would be some experiments.
Yes.
The experiment I'm saying is maybe let's put just as human, you can't use human beings to do such experiments. If you actually give me 2 years of practical and 2 years of theory, and give someone else 6 months of practical and 3.5 years of theory, then put us into the field, let's see who will perform better. Right?
Yes.
So, because I think since the curriculum has been structured in such a way that we have just 6 months out of 4 years to do practical, and that's what we've always known. Then we still reconnect with some of this knowledge, theoretical knowledge we knew in the past and the future, just still in theory. Don't you think the 10 years of learning can actually come down to just 3 years because we've been doing practical?
Of course.
So somehow the system will balance.
Yeah.
I would just love to put it down. System will balance.
Okay, we often hear debate about the financial burden. You mentioned it, you said something regarding this question. Yes, in the previous question I asked you, you said education is free. So I'll leave you to answer this question particularly. We often hear debates about the financial burden of tertiary education. How do you think skill acquisition can elevate this burden for individuals seeking to enter workforce and start a business?
Yeah, I think Mr. Chef has already said it. And through his skills, he has been able to help himself in this institution. Like I said before, education is supposed to be free. It is only, we say it is right, not privilege.
Yes.
And we'll keep saying it because that is the only thing the federal government, the government can do for her citizens, is to provide that good education. And the other part of the country, education is free. Government even pay to acquire the knowledge. But here we are paying. So, but considering what is going on, I advise people, anybody who knows that cannot cope and go to school, can engage in skills. Through the skill, some people out of what they are doing, make it, after acquiring the skill, you start it as a business. From here, you can also employ other people and be going to school.
But what do we say about people like, we get stories of Mark, the mental CEO, who I've not heard that he's from a poor background, but we heard he dropped out of Harvard. And we've heard of other notable CEOs of big conglomerates, in fact, global businesses who dropped out of school. So basically, I do not think that many a time it's about the finance or being able to afford education. So because I know he was able to afford education. In fact, his reason for starting Facebook wasn't even to make money. He simply said he wanted to be able to connect with his friends, and people in Harvard College connect with each other. So a place of innovation and creativity comes in. Education, just like you said, continuous improvement, right? So I think if I'm being educated, just like they used to say, they are certifying us in character and in learning, I shouldn't just come into the university and then step out of the university. The university should be able to tear me and rebuild me. In the sense that they make me a creative genius. Like I start to ask questions because of the new knowledge I've come to learn in the system. So this is why systems should also come up that will encourage some creative geniuses that do not have the money. Some persons will never do well with skill acquisition, and they don't still have the money to go to school. So education may not be free entirely in the sense that the system, to build a system to be able to teach people is difficult. Now, to build a lab, let's say in Ebonyi State University, to build a lab where a functional lab will cost a lot of money.
But in the federal,
even by the government.
the government should do it. It is their sole responsibility.
Yes, that is their sole responsibility, but I do not think though that they provide all these basic amenities from the tax.
From the tax, the internal general revenue, and as well the allocation from the federal government.
Yes. And at some point, like our president, Bola Tinubu, came in and started removing subsidy from oil, subsidy from education. I don't know if they've done that one already.
Of course they have, because the hike in school
Lagos State
is something else.
University just hiked their fee. So you notice that while we blame the government for not contributing their quota, to a great extent, we need to also contribute our quota. But to attach the value of education, the monetary value of education, where it gets to some point and you have to pay your way through. You get to some point and only the most intelligent are being picked and sponsored. So at the point, if you make education entirely free, I think the value will become lesser or degraded.
It's not true. Even when I have not said entirely free, but there's no way they work. Remember what happened? Let me use our state as an example. During the time of Samuel, people have traveled out on the state, trafficking from here. They have to come back because some people say free education from primary to university level. People came down, people were enrolled into scholarship, and they're outside the country doing marvelously well. These are the people who also contribute meaningfully to the progress of the state today. So I'm not saying it should be entirely free, but to an extent, the government should know that education is the only sole right a citizen has to gain.
Okay, so you made a very candid point here. You said some persons are talent driven. I mean, looking at the system of the whites outside, they have talent driven, they have room for talent driven persons, they have room for people that want to acquire skills and people that also need the formal education. But such talent driven opportunities are not given in this our system. I mean, there are persons that don't need the skill acquisition, they already have it inborn, it's already inside them. All they just need is, the room to foster such talent.
Yeah.
Yes, like over there, you see art studios where people just come, make their drawings and paintings just to build their talent without even learning it. But here, such provisions are not given. I mean, in such situation, how do you think the burden of education? I mean, how do you think we can balance that, knowing the burden of education is so much?
Persistence, resilience.
Okay, so you mean the individual should be persistent?
Yes.
But such persons are not recognized.
See, there is a way you persist, people must recognize. For instance, look at MC Walter. He considered that aspect within himself in his house. I'm going to do this. No one, in fact, it has been known before, but for now, he's an international figure. He said, I must do this. A lot of people must have discouraged him. You can't do it, you can't do it. No, I need to do it. Let me give it a trial of a truth. There will be a time when this young man will be constrained. Will I do this? Will I not do this? But he has that self-determination to do it. Today, he's riding the same car with our right honorable governor.
Okay, so in essence, you're saying whether it is skill or it is formal education, whatever anyone is engaging in, persistence is the only way to accomplish your desires.
Yes.
Okay, so you actually raised a very good point that serves a question for Chef John. So in our system, we all know that skill acquisition, people that embark on skill acquisition journey, they are less recognized, whereas people that have the formal education are more recognized. So how can we bridge that gap? Because to the best of my knowledge, out there in the Western world, there are people that are really thriving from skill acquisition. I mean, they have certificates stating that all they know is this skill, and they are producing, they are making waves with it. But there are still persons that are certified with the formal education. But over here, if you're in a social gathering, and then you present your certificate of skill acquisition, and somebody who had formal education sat down in a classroom for 4 years, had the formal education, present the certificate, they will accord more respect to the person that had the tertiary education than to you that has the skill. So how can we bridge that gap in this society?
The scenario is changing. It is changing. Gone are the days where they will say, Professor, this is in this gathering and people will stand up, but this is in this gathering and people will stand up. While it is a fact that those who have acquired education to a great extent have more respect in the society than those who don't have education is true. I'd like to debunk it to a great extent. If you go to an Italian market, there are men there who, okay, let's say the men who run pharmaceutical stores. They don't even know there is a course called pharmacy. So they are only qualified to run pharmaceutical stores because they have pharmacists under their employment, under their paycheck. There are so many of our politicians that have their certifications in question right now, but they are still occupying offices because of the impact they've made in the society. So I will not tell somebody who is already making impact in the society that they are less because they don't have certifications. Why do we even go to school in the first place? If I ask this question to 100 persons, I will get different views. We'll go to school so that we'll get work, we'll go to school so that we'll be impactful in our society, we'll go to school so that we'll become respected in our society, and all of these things is summed into one thing. If you can go to school and behave well in the society, if you can go to school and work, if you can go to school and form a company, if you can go to school and open a big business, and I did not go to school, I just had basic education, I don't have any education at all, but I'm a businessman, and I employ people. I think we are the same.
Yes.
We are the same in the sense that I've been able to reduce unemployment rate. I've been able to reduce crime because I'm employing people. I've been able to provide leverage for a lot of persons. I'm the reason why a lot of families are feeding through the business, through my acumen, notwithstanding I did not go to school. So I think it's just people who have polarized view, people who do not see things in the lens of, even funny enough, the persons who will see you as lower because you did not go to school are those who even went to school. So what did you go to learn? Okay, we hear of people who, because they are not big men, before you know it, they'll tell you so university in so countries are wanting somebody a doctorate degree. How did it happen? So, if you're someone like me who is more interested in impact, I would say whether you go to school or not, in as much as the path you've chosen to trail is the path that will lead to impact, please follow that. But I have a friend who, when we finished secondary school, this guy told me, bro, okay, I don't feel to do this thing again. He's selling motor parts right now and he's doing well for himself. Where somebody who has a doctorate degree is talking, that guy can talk right now.
Yeah, definitely. From what you are saying, in people's view, there is no way they will compare all those in skill and education.
That's the reality of our society.
Indeed, that's what it is.
Yes, there's no way they will see it like that. But the world is changing.
It's fast changing.
Fast changing. So if they were to bridge the gap is to provide them with something that can encourage them. Like government, there was a time they provided, they say, small and medium scale enterprise. They provided money with which they can use to start their business. I know within that time, even those with white collar job, when they say government are offering $1 million to support the
Business owners.
people went and got CS, everybody became business owners into agriculture, into skills, all this and that. If government will be doing that, I tell you, nobody will know whether you are doctor or you do this. Everybody becomes equal. If I tell it will be, I think that is the only way the gap can be closed.
Okay, so basically the responsibility falls on the government.
Yeah.
They are the ones responsible to bridging that gap.
Yes.
Okay, Mr. Abo, being a final year medical student, what are your thoughts on incorporating skill acquisition courses into traditional academic curricula to enhance students' practical competence?
I think it's very, very nice. It is something you can not do without. The university has already done it. But what we're encouraging is let it be more practical oriented. Other than what it is to be. They bring your entrepreneurship, your course, GST, you call it GST 201, I mean,
Yes, yes.
301.
Yes.
You just cram everything, right? How many blocks can make the whole building?
You can say for sure.
You've not done it before, but you've read it.
Okay, so Mr. Chef John, many aspiring entrepreneurs wonder if they need a formal education to succeed. How has your skill acquisition journey influenced your entrepreneurial endeavor, and what advice do you give to aspiring business owners?
Thank you. I need to make an assertion clear. You do not expressly need formal education to succeed as an entrepreneur. Instead, you need business education. You know, many persons in the university or the persons on the streets just put up things together and start selling without actually understanding the principles behind entrepreneurship. And they overlook the business education, they overlook business knowledge. Business knowledge teaches you how to get customers, how to develop your products, how to go about your branding, your marketing strategy, and all of those things. So, but you shy away from it, or for the fact that you do not have a knowledge of it, you just do trial and error method. And that's why you see so many businesses fail. So many persons have huge capital and they put it somewhere because they feel that's the happening thing. And in 6 months, in 3 months down the line, it dies down. That's because there is no solid business knowledge backing up whatever the person has decided to do. So while you get a skill, there is another thing to get: the knowledge to market that skill. Because it's only when you market it and sell it, when money or value exchanges hands, before you can be able to say you are successful. So for any person who wants to be an entrepreneur, you should know that there is no escape route from actually going for the knowledge, the right knowledge of how to actually do business, how to start and scale.
Alright, Mr. Bob, do you have anything to contribute?
Nothing much. I said it all, but just like you asked,
Yeah.
you also said that there's no, the entrepreneur doesn't need a formal education. Though you still need that education to develop more knowledge around what you do.
So you heard it all, viewers. Like both of our guests said, both formal education and skill acquisition, they are both good. It's up to you to find your bearings. You know the one that works for you. Like the Bible said, a man's gifts make it a way for him. So if your gift is in tertiary education, go for it. And if your gift is in skill acquisition, whatever the skill may be, you go for it. You're not limited to tertiary education or skill acquisition, especially in the global world we are. Every day we evolve and revolve. Just get the necessary knowledge required for whatever journey you choose to embark. Our guest, Mr. Abom, your shout out today goes to...
My shout out today goes to Comrade John Atkinson, aka Optimistic, and Comrade Wilson. These are my men out here. And also to Ebonyi TV, people are doing a job. And I encourage you to keep it up. Thank you very much.
And you, Chef John?
Okay, my shout out goes to all my customers who patronize my brand, Chop Chop Foods. You keep us in business, and we promise to keep on giving you the best of products, healthy snacks, healthy food, and also to my best friend who has been, as far as being a student and being an entrepreneur is concerned, she has been there, being my backbone, and she's Marilyn Ago. And I pray and hope that as we grow, we'll grow together. Thank you very much.
Okay, viewers, that's all we have for you today on Ebonyi People TV. Keep watching, keep liking, and keep subscribing till I come your way next time. I remain your adorable Akoma Precious. Thank you for joining us today.